choice here. You don't have to go down this road. We don't have to wait for the fires to explode. We actually just get to build a fireproof house. Please help me welcome John Ali.
I so appreciate every single person in this room who decided they had the mental bandwidth for one final content session after such an incredible event. It's been amazing, hasn't it? These past few days? Amazing. I'm truly grateful to each and every one of you. I want to express that gratitude by taking the next 30 minutes to tell you how to make a bunch of money. Does that seem fair? Okay, great, thanks. I want to tell you a quick story. The now infamous Mr. Brian Burt, much better marketer than I, helped me come up with the headline for this story. He came up with how to burn 100% of your EBITDA on any new acquisition you want in 90 days or less, guaranteed. This is a pretty good headline, right? Do we all want to learn how to do this? Not by going and getting our first deal and learning it ourselves, but by learning it through the eyes of two clients that we worked with last year. We will call them Jack and John. And Jack and John are really amazing human beings, incredible entrepreneurs, and decided they wanted to become investor owners. So they went out, they found a 7-figure agency. The CEO was burned out, tired, didn't want to be in that company anymore. He was ready to get rid of it. So the acquisition went through very, very quickly. I think it was less than 60 days, and the deal was signed. Happy ending, right? We met Jack and John 6 months after that acquisition went through. Their profit dropped through the floor. It literally disappeared. By the time we were working with them, their company was losing money. To try and fix this shit, with these investor owners who had this vision of this like passive cash flowing machine now landed themselves a second full-time job, working 60-hour weeks, trying to course correct this ship. And how the hell did we get here? Right? How can you burn 100% of your EBITDA in 90 days or less, guaranteed? By following these 6 simple steps. Number 1, and this is probably the biggest one, guys, walk in there with just 0 integration plan in place. I want you to just like kick down that door, show up on day 1 and say, let's fucking figure it out. That will do it. Or rewrite all the systems, change every SOP, just get in there, shuffle the whole thing, and turn it over in 30 days or less. Try and do everything. Fix everything, be everywhere, do it all at once, launch every opportunity that you see. That would also do it. Or take that org chart and just shuffle that thing. Shuffle it like a deck of cards. And then just for funsies, do it again. Team loves that, they love it. Double meetings, this is a good one. Double the meetings, I promise you, you'll get more done. Or the good old, I don't need data, I will just trust my gut. Jack and John did every single one of these. If you would like to burn your EBITDA, do every single one of these, because I promise you, you will get there. The thing is, I'm not calling anybody out. If you're feeling a little called out, I apologize. But the reality is that I have seen countless entrepreneurs make these exact mistakes with the best of intentions. With the best of intentions, doing what they really thought was going to serve their business and serve their team. We whoopsied our way into these things, especially at the beginning of the M&A journey when we literally just don't know any better. But the reality is, these are the things that will actively stand in the way of you hitting your goals, right? If there is a silver lining to this, it's that all of this is fixable. So if you've done any of this, if you are experiencing any of this, don't worry, these problems can be fixed. But the challenge with Jack and John is that they waited 6 months of things slowly getting worse and worse and worse before they brought us in. And then they said, please fix this. And we said, we can, but it's gonna be another 6 months because now you're so deep into the weeds that we have to get you all the way back out. It took 6 months of installing that right second-in-command operator, the person who should have been running the day-to-day, and then putting out all the fires, and then like slowly clawing back all of that profitability that they lost for them to finally start to systematically elevate back out. And last I checked in with them, they're very happy. They are now in that investor owner role. So there is a happy ending to this story. But guys, I look at this and what I really see is the lost time. I see the 6 months spent running a business of things slowly getting worse. I see the 6 more months, 12 months, stuck in the weeds of a business that they never wanted to be in. And that to me is the loss that we're here to avoid. So the good news is that this is solvable. The best news is that it is actually entirely avoidable. You just don't need to go down the road. You have choice here. There's not a choice about whether you will need operations. If you're in the M&A space, you are going to need it. Your choice is when. Do we wait?
Do we wait until the fires have started to burn before we call in a team of firefighters to put it out? That is what Jack and John did. Or do we get proactive with it? Do we know that this is coming? Do we plan for it in advance? Do we build the team around ourselves that we need to make it happen? In that case, operations stops being a team of firefighters and it actually becomes the foundation for a fireproof house. And you get to use this operational foundation to skyrocket, because for as many horror stories like Jack and John's, I have the equal number of stories of clients who took the proactive measures and took the steps and built the team, and they brought in that new business and it skyrocketed them to the moon. So you have choice here. You don't have to go down this road. We don't have to wait for the fires to explode. We actually just get to build a fireproof house. Not by doing any of those 6 steps I just shared, but the best practices that we're now going to dive into. Is that fair? Does that make sense? All right, so let's dive into this. When we come in and we work with a client, we start with what we call the ops inspection, and it breaks down, it's essentially an audit. It breaks down their business, and guys, these are the same 6 pillars that exist in every business. These are the 6 operational pillars: strategy, leadership, team, tech and systems, communications, and data. What I want to do is take the rest of our time to go through and help you guys identify the common profit centers that we find hidden within each of these pillars, as well as the best practices around how to integrate within this pillar for a business that you're about to acquire. Is that fair? Let's dive into it. Actually, before I do, this is like a sample report that we will generate out of this ops inspection. And what I want to call your attention to is that there's a lot of red, right? The red is critical bottleneck. If we come in and we are a part of due diligence and we're auditing this company and you see a lot of red, your first thought may be, Jonna, why the hell would I want to buy this company? It looks like a dumpster fire. But the reframe I will offer you is that that CEO has generated that level of EBITDA despite the dumpster fire. Their bottlenecks become your opportunities. Everything they missed is an efficiency gain that you can find to stack EBITDA after you close the deal. Does that make sense? So this is good news so long as we're prepared, so long as we know what to do about these things and we can walk in on day one with a plan. So don't be scared, right? This is probably why you're gonna get such a good deal on this business to begin with, because the CEO's burnt out. They're struggling with all of these things. That's the opportunity if you know how to take advantage of it. So let's dive into this. Strategy. The biggest thing that we see with strategy, the hidden profit center here, comes from something that I call strategic bloat, which essentially just means that the visionary went and got all visionary with it, and they launched a bunch of ideas and a bunch of products and a bunch of offers and did a bunch of things for a bunch of different people, and not all of it works. But now we have a ton of resources rowing our boat in 10 different directions, rowing really hard, trying to do all of these things. And what happens to a boat when you try and row it in 10 directions? It goes nowhere. So what we look for is we're looking for what are the components of this business's strategy that are actually moving the needle, and what is everything else that is consuming a ton of resources, a ton of labor, a ton of energy, a ton of time, but is not actually driving the company forward. I'll circle back to this when we get to data. I can almost guarantee if you were to look internally in your own agency today, what you would find that not all of your products are equally profitable. Not all of your clients are equally profitable. And if we're optimizing for profit, the opportunity there is to identify the 80-20 of where are 80% of our resources going to generate 20% of our revenue, and vice versa. Who are our 20% top clients? They generate 80% of our revenue, and they're the easiest people to work with, and we talk to them once a month, right? We all know intuitively that we have this skew within our business. So that's what we're looking for within strategy. Where can you find low-hanging fruit profitability gains, because they're currently doing a bunch of stuff and paying for a bunch of stuff that's not actually generating measurable profit. So looking closer than just the P&L and the top level numbers and trying to break it down a little bit more granularly. Once you're in the business, the single biggest best practice I can offer you around strategy is be ruthless in how you prioritize. You are going to get into that business and there is going to be a laundry list of all of the things that need to be fixed, integrated, merged, hired, fired, launched, infinite things that you are so excited to get to work on inside this company, and I love that for you. But the thing is, we can't do everything at once. So we have to have something to prioritize against, some sort of benchmark that says what makes it to the top of the list. And in my opinion, that needs to be your why, not Simon Sinek's why. The why behind why you acquired this company to begin with. There's a specific strategic goal that you have in mind when you did this acquisition. What was it? And now every decision has to be measured against that. To keep this very simple, I advocate for need to have versus nice to have. So you're looking at that laundry list and you're saying, okay, the need to haves are the priorities, the systems that need to be merged, the team members that need to be onboarded, whatever needs to happen, that is absolutely necessary for us to achieve whatever strategic goal I have set, right? One strategic goal. There's only so many things that need to happen to achieve that. That becomes the need to have. Everything else is a nice to have. And this is where it gets tricky, because the nice to have is nice to have. We want to have the fancy system. We don't want to have to pay for 2 CRMs for 6 months. These are nice to have things to be able to do, but the reality is you can't do everything at once. And successful integration is a matter of prioritization, right? So know why you're buying this business, and then look at everything on that list and ask yourself, is it need to have, or is it literally anything else? And if it's anything else, that gets to go live in what I call the parking lot, which means it's a great idea. It's a great idea. We should totally do that in 6 months. So we're gonna park that idea in the parking lot. We will come back to it, but it's just not the priority today. And you need to know that, your leadership team needs to know that, because they are also responsible for deciding what they put their team's time and energy towards. Second pillar here is, as I mentioned, leadership. And if there is a single best practice that I can offer you when it comes to acquisitions and getting the right ops integration in place, it is that a huge component of this project is simply not your job. It's not your job, it's not your expertise, it's heavy, heavy lift, and someone's gotta do it. If you don't have this operator, if you don't have a second in command already picked out, when you walk into that company on day one, then you will become the operator. Someone's got to answer the questions. Someone's got to make the decisions. Someone's got to allocate and assign tasks. Someone's got to hold the team accountable. Someone's got to do it. If it's not an operator, it will be you. And this is how we get sucked into the day-to-day of these businesses that we always just wanted to own and not operate, right? So I've been having conversations with you guys over the last 3 days. I've been asking you, what are your ops integration game plans for when you buy these companies? And then importantly, who is the operator? It can be from your team, their team. You can go out and recruit somebody in, right? But Jack and John waited 6 months before they got this person in the role. It took us 60 days, and that's the fastest, by the way. Most recruiters will take 4 to 6 months to find a role like this. And then it's another 90 days on top of that to have this person onboarded, to have them ramped up, to have them fully running the day-to-day of the business. So when it comes to your operator, guys, you have to be proactive. If you wait until you're already in there and it's already a dumpster fire, then you have to live and operate in that dumpster fire for like 3 to 6 months until the operator is in place to take that off your hands. Does that make sense? We have to be looking down the road and reverse engineering from there. The third pillar, so we've got strategy, leadership, team. Team is probably, in my opinion, the most important, at least in the first 30 to 90 days of this process. And specifically, the team that you get comes down to what you do on day one. Let me paint a picture for you. It's day one, it's the first all hands meeting, you're introducing yourself to your brand new team, you're so excited to do this with them. Which team would you rather have? Do you want the team that is scared they're about to lose their jobs, disengaged, heads down, looking for jobs on the side because they don't know what's about to happen, doing the work that you tell them to do, but they're not really bringing anything extra to the table? Is that the team that you want? Or do you want the team that is bought in, engaged, fired up, can't wait to charge up this mountain with you, thinks this acquisition is the best thing that has ever happened to them? Is that the team that we want? It's the same group of people. It's the same group of people. It all comes down to, how do we paint a picture? How do we tell a story that they can see themselves being a part of? This story needs to do two things. The first is that it needs to align incentives. Pretty much, we're building a vision for where we're about to take this company and why we're so excited that everyone is along for the ride. But that's not quite good enough. They need to understand what's in it for me. If the strategy here is that we're hiking Mount Everest, that sounds pretty hard. Why would I want to go up Mount Everest with you? What is in it for me? When I say aligned incentives, everybody immediately thinks compensation, and yes, that's a part of it, but guys, there is so much more to hiking Mount Everest and why I would want to do that than someday, 12 to 24 months from now, I might get paid some money for it, right? What is in it for me? How will I grow? How is this an opportunity? Why is it meaningful? Why am I excited to charge up there with you? Paint a picture for them and help them understand how they are a part of your success story and the strategy that you have for the business. That's truly aligned incentives. And the second part, and this is maybe the most important piece and the most missed piece that I see when we do really, frankly, anything of substantial change in our businesses, and that is establish psychological safety. Psychological safety is what it sounds like. It's a workplace environment where people feel fundamentally safe. Safe to voice ideas, safe to debate, safe to dissent, safe that they're not going to lose their job tomorrow. And what is the fundamental thought that hits every person's brain the second they hear their company has been acquired? Holy shit, am I about to be fired? Boom, your psychological safety just jumped out the window. Unless on that very first day, we tell them a different story. And the story says you're safe. The story says you're valued. The story says we need you, we need you. Because without your work, we can't get to the summit of the mountain. I'm so excited you are here. You are safe. Without psychological safety, they've done tons of studies on this. You don't get the highest levels of performance out of your team. You just don't. You don't get creativity. You don't get innovation. You don't get critical thinking and critical problem solving. These things live in a different part of the brain, and they literally go out the window when people do not feel safe. So if there is one thing that you can establish on that very first day and then continuously come back to again and again and again, it's psychological safety. You cannot overdo this, guys, because every little bump on the road, every little change, every team member that does in fact leave or get fired, it threatens the foundation of psychological safety. You have to continuously replenish that. So if you're gonna prep anything, prep the story. Prep the story you're going to tell them on day one. Make sure they understand how incentives are aligned. Make sure they understand that they are fundamentally safe through this transition. They are needed, they are valued. And that one change, how they perceive themselves in your new business, is the difference between that bought-in, proactive team and the disengaged, looking for side hustles, isn't sure what's going on team, right? It is that simple at some level. And team equals profit. If we're bringing this back to profit, guys, just some stats on this, the cost of a mishire or having the wrong person in the role, on average, is 1 to 3x their annual salaries. High performance, high output teams are twice as productive, meaning that you can double revenue with the same labor cost. And the difference drops straight to your bottom line in the form of profit, right? You just get to stack revenue without stacking expenses, and all of that becomes profit margin in your business. And then most importantly, a team that is bought in, well-led, self-managing, is the team that isn't coming to you all day, every day in Slack, blowing you up, so you have the opportunity to focus on growth. Does this make sense? Team equals profit. We cannot sleep on our team, because here's the thing, guys, it's free. It's free to be a better leader. It doesn't cost us anything, but it gets us massive outsized ROI. That feels like a pretty good deal to me. Pillar number 4, communication. There's so much that could be said about meetings, why we all hate them, how to do good ones and how to do bad ones. If there's one thing that I could offer you, especially post-acquisition, it's focus on the one-on-ones. If you're not currently doing one-on-ones with your team, oh my God, do I advise that. And if you are about to acquire a team, this is an absolute non-negotiable. Why? Because the team knows where all the problems are. The question is, are they telling you? This issue of hidden problems. There's all this stuff broken, but we can't see it because we aren't close enough to it. The team is close enough to it. They know which systems are clunky. They know which team members are grumbling. They know which people are about to leave. They know which clients are about to churn. They know. The question is, are they telling you? And again, psychological safety is the foundation of this. Without that, it is so much safer to just not say anything. They will not tell you unless they feel psychologically safe and unless we've created the space to have the conversation and to directly and explicitly ask. And that's what the one-on-ones are for. How could things be better? Where are you struggling in your role? How can I set you up for success? What do you need? These are the questions that invite your team to make these hidden problems unhidden. And in that you find opportunity, or at the very least, the ROI on this is that you don't have to wait for a tiny fire to become a dumpster fire before you hear about it, learn about it, and now have to invest a huge amount of time and energy into putting it out. If we can catch these problems early, we save an enormous amount of opportunity cost because they're really easy to fix when they're small. But when they're small, they may not be big enough for you to notice. Your team knows, but you may not. Is your team elevating that to you so you can knock it out early? Or are we waiting for everything to become a big deal and get escalated, and now it's taking 4 hours, 6 hours, 2 days out of your week to placate that client or to fix that system or to do whatever is being broken? Again, it costs us nothing. It's a couple of hours of our manager's time to have one-on-ones with our team. I recommend on a bi-weekly basis, at least for the first 90 days. Minimum. That's minimum numbers. If you can do more, do more. Tech and systems. Pillar number 5, and under this giant umbrella of a pillar, I would also include AI, SOPs, workflows and processes, systems. All of that falls into this category in our ops methodology. And I love this quote from James Clear. He's the author of Atomic Habits. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Why? Why is that? It's because when shit gets crazy, systems are what hold it all together. When I've got 100 things on my to-do list and I don't know where to start, my to-do list being well-ordered, prioritized with due dates, reminding me what's important is the thing that I'm able to fall back on that says, oh yeah, start here. And if I'm a member of your team with 100 things to do and I don't know where to start and I don't have a system to go to, what do? I go to you. Hey boss, what's going on? Where are we at with that client? What do you need today? Let's hop on a meeting and you can spend 30 minutes telling me what my job is. Guys, if you don't have systems, then you are the system. And that's where we get sucked in. If you don't have a system, then you are the system. And if your team is coming to you all the time with things that frustrate you, it's because there is not a system in place to buffer against that, right? So when it comes to integration, the very quick walkthrough here is number 1, look in the mirror first. Before you go out and acquire that next business, make sure your shit is buttoned up. Or you're acquiring a really well-managed company, and that's why you're bringing them in, is for their dialed systems. I would highly advise against trying to grapple with 2 very messy businesses at once if you have a small team that's just kind of asking for it. So audit both businesses. Before you do the acquisition, build a 1-month, a 3-month, and a 6-month game plan. I should specify your operator should be building this, right? You tell the operator, hey, here's the strategic goal, and they say, okay, great, based off of that strategic goal, these are the systems that I think need to get merged first. This is what can wait. This is our need to haves. This is our nice to haves. Here's the plan. And then this number 3 is the most important part here, guys. They get into that business, they sit on their hands, and they do nothing for 30 days. This is so important because what we think we know about this business is almost always incomplete, incorrect, or at least needs to be validated. And so the operator that jumps in and just immediately starts fixing shit, number 1, you're creating a lot of instability, which impairs psychological safety. And number 2, you may not actually be right. We might be fixing the wrong thing or at least prioritizing the wrong thing because it's not actually as high leverage as we thought it was. So the first 30 days is about observation, auditing, talking to the team, mapping out the processes, seeing how things actually are, and then building a game plan from there. Lastly, on systems, guys, the right system is the one that actually gets used. There is no right system. It's the one that the team is actually able and willing to use. Data, 6th and final pillar. Alex Hermosi told me this once. I don't make better decisions, I just have better data. Guys, entrepreneurial intuition is a real thing. When you're sitting at the negotiation table and something doesn't feel right, that is valid data. But when it comes to making the decisions about how to grow and scale the profitability of your business, you're actually just too far away from it to be able to make the right call. Trying to scale without data is like trying to drive a car next to a cliff edge with a blindfold on. It feels scary, and let's be honest, we can't intuit where the cliff edge is. Data is taking the blindfold off. Data is visibility into this business. The data tells you where the problems are and where the opportunities are. So there's a list of 100 KPIs that we send to our clients. I'm more than happy to send that to anybody. Reach out to me for it. But if there were 3 that I could pick out for you on the topic of profit, it's what I alluded to back in strategy. How much does it cost for you to fulfill on a client at each tier of client across each product and service? That's called the marginal cost of fulfillment. And with that, you can calculate profit per client tier. So client tier could be, we have our tier 1 clients who are doing 5 million in revenue, and our tier 2 clients who are doing 1 million in revenue, and our tier 3 clients who are doing 200K. You guys have a skew of clients within your business. You don't work with all people of the same size, and I promise you that one of those tiers is more profitable, wildly more profitable than the others. Do you know which ones? That could be a way of unlocking 20 to 40% profitability in your business today. So know per client, know per product and service. Calculating out profit per is absolutely powerful, whether you're running your existing business or acquiring a new one. That's everything I have for you guys. Thank you so much.